If you have a man, or if you have had a man who has checked out other women while you were there and it really did not feel good for you, you felt really bad, you might have felt really anxious, then do not click off this video, because we are going to talk about why it hurts so much, why a man is doing that in the first place, and also what you can do about it when a man shows up that way for you, so that you can actually inspire him into a greater level of care and protection for your heart. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Zach Rohde. I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams using your feminine energy and feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. Men checking out other women. One of the really annoying, frustrating things about a lot of men is that they will justify this behavior when it's actually not okay. We're going to talk about why it's not okay as well in this video, but why are men justifying this? They're justifying it because they think, they can't control themselves, it's just another girl, it doesn't mean anything in any kind of way. They will often put it onto you where you are too sensitive, you're just being too much, you're being too extra, you're being too dramatic, and you just need to become more secure in yourself. So whenever a man does that, in general, but also specific to this issue, what he is really demonstrating is he doesn't truly understand women. He doesn't understand you. He doesn't understand your needs on a deep level. A man could be amazing and treating you really well in all kinds of ways, but when a man is showing up this way, especially publicly in front of you in this kind of way, what he's really demonstrating is he doesn't understand your need for containment in the relationship. Sexual containment, and just containment of his gaze, really. You need a man, like if we're talking about the ideal man, you need a masculine man who's leading, who's taking charge, and who is devoted to you. He's devoted to protecting you, not just protecting you physically, but also protecting you emotionally. And not just protecting you emotionally from other people, but also, and most importantly, protecting you from himself and his own behaviors. So I didn't used to know this my entire life. Okay, so I've been married for over 9 years now. And I've been with my wife for over 9 years, almost married for 9. And I've been treating her increasingly well, let's say the last 5 years, once my masculine instinct came online, and I just all of a sudden really started to understand what my wife needs and what women need on a really deep level. Prior to that, my masculine instinct was buried, which meant my provider instinct, my protector instinct wasn't fully online. It wasn't natural and just obvious that I should be taking care of a woman in this way. It was more, my mentality is like, oh, you can just take care of yourself. What's the big deal? You're a strong, independent woman. What do you need me for? So I call that a Peter Pan boy. It's a man who hasn't fully grown up. He's still acting like a child. That was me in many ways. And that didn't mean that I was incompetent in other ways. Didn't mean I wasn't very capable. I was capable of being a leader in many ways. It's just I didn't want to, because, hey, you can take care of yourself. And so I did so many things where I was kind of leaking my sexual energy outside of the relationship container that I was supposed to be building and maintaining for my wife. What do I mean by relationship container? I mean a container where both her and my sexual energy is fully contained only for each other. Only for each other, 100%. So one of the boyish childhood things that I would do, because my instinct wasn't fully online, is like, this is horrible. Like, I just can't, looking back at myself, I'm like, how could I be so stupid? How is it even possible? Because I knew so much about women and people in so many ways. I'd studied it. I taught men. I was coaching men. And yet I was so stuck in this whole needing to be free to just express myself. So I would go out with my wife and be talking to other women. And first of all, I'd be just letting other women flirt with me. And I would flirt to an extent back as well. And I didn't see anything that was wrong with it. Now my wife, she didn't like it, but she was also extremely secure in herself, number one. And she was also extremely secure in the relationship, where like, even though I was doing really stupid stuff like this, because I was just so radically honest with her, and I guess this isn't really being in integrity, this part, but I was so in integrity in every other kind of way, and I was so clear in my intention, that she felt really safe in the relationship. Not that's an excuse where it's like, hey, you make a woman feel safe in the relationship in other ways, you go flirt with other women. No, definitely not. But the point is, I would be leaking out that energy in the relationship. My relationship container wasn't as rock solid as it should be. So I was dropping the ball as a man. And I didn't see anything wrong with it whatsoever. It's like, why shouldn't a man be able to do this? It's totally harmless. You ever hear that before? It's just harmless flirting. It's a harmless compliment. Doesn't mean anything. And that might be true in the sense that the man's intentions are clean. My intentions were clean. Like, I was fully with my wife. I had no intention of, actually cheating on her. But my view has changed so much now. Like, I would consider any kind of flirting, I suppose it's not cheating if you're being totally honest about it. My wife knew, but it's still leaking. Still leaking that energy out, right? So there's still what I would call an integrity issue. But nobody would be able to convince me. If I watched this video and I'm talking to myself, maybe, I don't know, I can be very convincing. But even then, I'm just not sure. My whole mentality was about being free. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to be totally radically honest about it. My intention is never to hurt. But if it hurts you, that's something for you to work on. Have you ever experienced that before? Tell me, honestly tell me, because, in my academy program where I help women make these shifts, I teach women feminine communication. I teach women how to shift into their feminine energy, let go of their control patterns. I hear this quite frequently, that there will always be women who are with a man who's great in a lot of ways, really masculine in a lot of ways, really fun. But it's like, when it comes to a woman sharing her problems and insecurities and stuff with him, it's like, well, that's for you to fix. That's not actually true. It's partly true. It's like, yes, you have to fix your insecurities, but if a man is choosing to create a relationship with you, he's in charge of creating the relationship container, and he is choosing, whether he knows it or not, his responsibility is to choose to take care of your heart. And that means being responsible for his behaviors, his immature behaviors, his incompetent behaviors, his leaky behaviors, to protect your heart and keep it safe. It's like, let's say you're insecure, like you're just a relatively insecure woman. If the man is choosing you to be with you, he can't then just put all of that on you and be like, well, you're just insecure. It's like, yeah, he chose you though. He chose a woman who's insecure. You're going to be responsible for her now? Is he going to be responsible for you and start taking care of you in the way that you need? And part of what you need as a woman, whether you're insecure or not, is a solid relationship container. That's part of a masculine responsibility. But especially if you're insecure, that becomes even more important, because how are you going to heal that insecurity in a unsafe relationship container where he's leaking all his energy all over he's flirting with women, he's looking at other women, checking out that woman's butt, checking out that woman's chest, so gazing at her way too long, and then he's saying, this is all your issue, you're just too insecure. That's messed up. And that was me. I was messed up. Totally messed up man. And I thought I was so evolved because I was just so capable of being, ultra honest about everything, and just so genuine and authentic. And those were my buzzwords. I'm just, I'm being authentic. I'm being authentic with it's total garbage. All right. Those men can be great in a lot of ways, and their masculine instinct isn't fully online. And that sucks. So you feel hurt and insecure. Like, you might feel sad, you might feel angry, you might feel embarrassed as well, right? It's like, my man is checking out other women right in front of me. That can be very embarrassing. And did I say anxious yet? Certainly you're going to feel some level of anxiety, some mix of those feelings. There's nothing wrong with any of that. All of those feelings are normal. That's totally what I would expect most women to feel to some extent, even if it's a relatively good relationship. If it's a less good relationship where the man is not solid in his care for you, he's not demonstrating it all the time, you're going to feel even worse. If you're more insecure, you're going to also feel worse. But no matter what, it's never going to feel good. It's never like, oh yeah, my man is checking out all these women. It's fantastic. I feel so fantastic in this moment. You're going to feel bad unless, hypothetically, if your feminine instinct was 100% buried. And for some women, their instinct is buried. And I often see that in spiritual circles, right? Women practicing a spirituality and might be into polyamory and all this stuff, which I was also into. Don't really promote that in any way anymore. I think there's lots of problems with it. Those women, if their instincts are buried, they might not feel that fear, the anger, jealousy. That's another part of it, right? That's part of the anger response, anger and fear response. It's this jealousy feeling. There's nothing wrong with those feelings. The more that your feminine instinct is online, the more that you're going to feel those feelings. And that's actually a good thing, because your instinct, your feminine instinct, is warning you. It's telling you something really important. What is it telling you? There's something wrong in this situation right now. There's something wrong in this dynamic. If you were completely numb emotionally, you wouldn't even feel anything, and you wouldn't realize that there's something wrong, and then you wouldn't do anything about it. You just let a man do whatever he wants. The fact that these feelings are coming up for you, it is showing you, like, okay, something's wrong. It's warning you something's wrong so that you can do something about it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do something about it. Part of the problem for many women is they do the wrong thing. They go into blame. They go into judgment. They go into ask, why are you looking at her? Or just staying silent and doing nothing even though you want to speak up, which is another control pattern, right? It's avoidance. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make him think that you're too much, that you're too dramatic, that you're too insecure. That's all a problem, okay? Because whenever you do any of that stuff, whether it's going silent or going into a more obvious control pattern, you are telling a man that you lack self-worth in some kind of way, especially if you remain silent. That's actually the worst thing you can do. Typically, in most situations, remaining silent when you are feeling bad is the worst thing that you can do, because you're basically communicating, I'm a doormat. You can show up in any kind of way in front of me, and it's totally okay. When it's not okay. It is not okay. It's great if you're relatively secure about a man doing this. And here's the thing, men especially, but even some women, there are some women who will be like, what's the big deal? It's just a man looking at another woman. It's not even that he's talking to her. Same kind of mentality that I had around flirting. Like, what is the big deal? It's not like I'm going to do anything with her because I'm fully committed to you. Here's the issue. It's like, I'm going to just flip it around just to kind of give a different example here. It's like a man who never takes you out for dinner. It's like, sure, he's loyal to you. He really loves you. He's kind to you, but he never takes you out to dinner. Why is he not doing that? Taking you out to dinner is him showing you through his actions, I care about you. I care about you enough to spend some of my money on you. I care about you enough to put in this time and thought and energy into doing something special for you. Is it necessary in an exclusive relationship for it to function? No. But it's him giving you his love in a certain form. In a similar way, a man choosing, it's like he sees hot women and he chooses, I'm not going to look at them. I am going to keep my focus on my woman, or at least off other women that I am attracted to. And by the way, this is side tangent. This isn't about suppression either, right? My background is actually coming from like very atheist parents and family and everything. I've actually shifted in a lot of ways, but I don't consider myself any mainstream religion. But going from that and then looking at, say, Christians as an example, but it could be any religious person, who most are very suppressed sexually and otherwise, emotionally as well. Not every single one, but a lot of them, because they're learning this framework in a way that's, biblical framework, in a way that's not actually supportive. And I think there's a lot of really important stuff in there, but the way that people are taught it and learn it and are indoctrinated into it, that is a big problem. So it's not the text itself, it's just the process that is a problem. Here's another example. It's like that you shouldn't even be thinking of other women. Like that's committing adultery. Just even thinking about it, just fantasizing about it, it's all in your head. And Years ago, I would have been like, that's totally insane. Like, it's just thinking. What's the big idea? The big deal about that? Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that I don't love my wife. But what it is actually doing, it is showing someone's lack of commitment to that person to contain their energy, their sexual energy, in only that container, in only that relationship container. So now when I'm out with my wife, it's like, yeah, it could be considered like not a big deal to look at other women, but I feel this sense of responsibility to contain that energy within, just in my relationship. It actually feels good for me. It's not about suppression, right? Because for a lot of people, it is about suppression. Like, ooh, I'm bad, I'm scared, I'm going to go to hell, for example, rather than it being about what it should be, which is about love. And that can be also love for God, but also love for your partner. And so I choose to do this as an act of love, just like I choose to take my wife out on dates as an act of love. I choose to not flirt with other women as an act of love, to give her this incredible gift in the relationship of containment of my energy only on her. Only on her. So there's nothing at all that leaks out, even though I could get away with it. 100% I could get away with it. She would never know. So it's a gift to her, but it's also about being in integrity in myself. And a lot of men, they just don't have that because they weren't taught. They didn't have fathers that teach that level of respect and that level of containment. It's not that they don't have a father. It's just that most fathers aren't teaching that kind of thing. And so you got all these guys that are walking around that are kind of like children in a lot of ways. They're not taking responsibility for your heart. So yeah, you're going to feel bad because your instinct is off, is warning you that something is off. And you're going to feel these negative emotions. If you share them, you have probably experienced before sharing these feelings in some way, whether it's specifically about this, or if not, then certainly about something else, where you have then been gaslit, you have then been judged, criticized, been put on you, this insecurity, this is something that you need to deal with, and then you feel way worse, and you might internalize that and be like, yeah, maybe I just do need to be secure, I'm more secure. Maybe the issue is me. It's not you. The issue might be you in the sense that the way that you are communicating things is a problem. And again, we're going to be talking about how you can communicate this properly in a way that will inspire a man into taking care of you. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with your feelings. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you having this kind of internal emotional reaction to a man doing this. And typically from what I see, like with working with my clients and just what I see outside of my academy as well, like the women who choose to work with me, who are most likely to work with me, their feminine instinct is the most online. And either it starts that way and then they find me. There's kind of two types of women. There's the ones, their instinct is fully online from the beginning, and they find me and they're like, oh my God, like you are just speaking my language. I had no idea that there was, maybe I thought I was the only one. I thought I was crazy. Nobody else really thinks like this. I haven't been able to find anyone who's talking in this kind of way. Even like femininity coaches, like women femininity coaches, there's something off about it, that kind of thing. So I find them and I'm like an oasis in the desert for them. It's just like, oh my God, this is exactly what I was looking for. And that's fantastic. I love those women. And then the other type of women that I find I also love, initially there tends to be at least some, anyone could get triggered, but there's usually more triggers that come up with them. Their instinct is somewhat online already, maybe not 100% online, but there's all these triggers in the way, so I tend to trigger them. Now I try to be as loving as possible on these videos because it's very easy to transmit that love, because I truly do love women. I want women to make all of these shifts and be happy and create the relationship of your dreams and everything. On Facebook, when women find me, there tends to be more triggers because I'm doing it in post, so they can't feel my love as much, sometimes not at all. But the content of what I'm sharing can be very triggering. So far in this video, maybe not so much, because it's like kind of telling you everything that I want, that you want to hear. Maybe by the end, when we talk about how you can communicate this differently, there might be some triggers that come up if this is your first time watching this video. But yeah, these triggers come up because your instinct isn't fully online and there's just stuff that's in the way. So those women oftentimes join my academy program as well. Before we continue, where we talk about how you can communicate this differently, since we're talking about my academy program, If you would like to find out if you are right for working with us, go below this video, open up the description, you click on the link, relationshipofyourdreams.com. That's going to take you to an amazing video to watch. It's a 10-minute video. You watch that, and then if it really resonates with you, you book a call. Either way, it's going to be really helpful. It's going to be, most importantly, inspirational for you. And I would love to get on a call with you. It's a free call, discovery call. We'll find out if it makes sense to work together, because we can help you make all these shifts really quickly. Right? What kind of shifts am I talking about? The kind of shifts I talk about throughout all of these videos, where you're being cherished by a masculine man. He's taking care of you. He's leading you. He's loving you. He's containing the relationship. He's not leaking any energy outside of the relationship. He's trying to be his absolute best for you. You're madly in love with him, and he's madly in love with you, and it just continues that way. You guys don't have fights. Like, you can literally get to the point where you don't have fights in relationships, in any relationship. There aren't really unmet needs. You just, whenever you have a problem, you just bring it to him, and he's like, oh, sweetheart, it's okay. Gives you a hug, takes accountability, listens to you, holds space for your feelings, shifts the problem. Boom. That was easy. And then you're like, oh my God, that was so easy. Wow, I'm going to keep doing that. It can be that easy. It's supposed to be that easy. And then the rest of the time, he's just taking care of you, providing for you, planning for you, trying to take away your burdens. That doesn't mean you're not doing anything in the relationship, but it means that he's actively trying to make your life easier. That's what a masculine man's supposed to do. So we help you attract that kind of man if you're single, or if you're in a relationship, we help you inspire the man that you've got into being that kind of man. You can have that if you want it. If you want it, book that call with me. It's that easy. Relationshipofyourdreams.com. Watch the video. Okay, so let's get into what to do in this kind of situation. Got a man. He's got those wandering eyes. You don't like it, you feel bad. So what most women will do is they will, like I said, they'll go into the blaming, the judging, the asking questions, or be needy, clingy, all kinds of things. All kinds of things that are going to basically repel a man's devotion, because he can feel you kind of grasping, trying to control in some kind of way. Control his perception of you, or control his behavior. And he's not going to like it, especially if you judge him for his behavior in any kind of way. Even though his behavior is wrong, right? It's not, I don't think it's appropriate. It isn't appropriate. It's not just what I think. It's not appropriate. And the longer he, like, I'm not, just so we're clear, I'm not talking about like him looking at a woman. Like, of course he's going to, it's like there's people in the way when he's walking. I'm talking about that very lingering gaze and like looking up and down, scanning her. That's what I'm talking about. That's where it becomes really problematic. So most of the things that women will say at this point or do are going to be problematic. It does not need to be that way. What you can do is use what I call feminine communication and your feminine energy. Now, and this isn't about like, ooh, you turn this thing on to get this kind of result. That's not what feminine communication is. That would just be like manipulation. It's like, ooh, this is how you're going to flip that switch in him for him to step up and be better for you. No, we don't do that here. Okay, feminine communication is actually fully for you, first and foremost. Yeah, you'll get amazing outcomes. You'll get a man who really cares about you, who wants to step up and be better for you. But you need to use this communication for you because it feels good, right? Just like when I'm working with men and I'm teaching men masculine communication, they're doing it for them first and foremost, for themselves. When I'm talking to my wife and I'm leading her and I'm using what I call masculine communication, I'm giving directives, I'm giving loving judgments, I'm giving strong correctives and boundaries. I'm doing that because it feels good, because my masculine instinct is fully online. When a man's instinct is online, all this communication is going to feel good for him. And all of your communication, if it's feminine, is going to feel good. When your feminine instinct is fully online, using feminine communication is all you want to do. Because, like, let's be honest, you don't want to judge your man, right? You don't want to go into like asking him a whole bunch of questions and you're feeling all anxious and you're trying to quell that anxiety by asking him questions. You don't want to be blaming him. None of that feels good. All you really need in that moment is just his love and reassurance and maybe some accountability. And what's going to feel best for you to receive that isn't controlling him or judging him into it. It's you just letting go and opening up and sharing what's coming up for you. Energetically. Not trying to control any kind of outcome. And that's what feminine communication essentially is. before we get into the exact words, if you're liking this video, and you must, if you're this far in, you're like 25 minutes in, you're probably liking it, you're probably resonating it. So give this video a like. Just click that like button. I'm going to continue making sure the rest of this video is great. So it's my, my passion to bring joy and entertainment and education value into these videos. So give that a like. That's also going to help me. It's going to help the algorithm. And then subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe to this video if you're not yet subscribed, because I got hundreds more just like this video, and I'm going to have hundreds more coming as well. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you make all of these shifts, make your love life so much easier, so much better. Now, we get incredible, like mind-blowing results in our Academy program, and we get them really quick. But I've also heard of lots of results from women reading my books, from watching my YouTube videos, even just following me on Facebook. You can shift so much for free. I want that for you. If you want to make these shifts way faster and easier, yeah, work with me. But yeah, you can make these shifts either way. It's absolutely possible. So keep watching. Make sure you subscribe. So feminine communication, what you got to basically do is, and I say this on so many videos, like one of the main things I'm sharing on these videos, it's just some of the basic stuff that I teach in our Academy program. And even just getting these basics is going to help you so much. You need to open yourself up and ask a man for help. Ask your man for help, because you need help in that moment. If you are feeling anxious, let's just say anxious and jealous, like those are the two big things. Well, you need help with those feelings. So you're going to vulnerably open yourself up to that help and ask him for help. May I please have some help? You might experience a trigger just hearing that, but guess what? That's what you need. And that's the way to ask it, where you're not controlling him or judging him in any way. If you start judging, now you're making it all about him instead of making it about you. And understand, by making it about you, which is what so much of feminine communication is, that doesn't mean you're tiptoeing around his ego and you're not walking on eggshells. If you're doing that, you're just using the feminine communication for the wrong reasons. Your intention is way off. You're actually still in masculine energy. You're still in control. That's not what I am telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do is use feminine communication for you, because guess what? You have this unmet need in this moment. You're not feeling that connection. You're not feeling that safety. You're not feeling that love from him in that moment, and you need that reestablished. That's what you need help with. And you are basically just asking for that in a feminine way. So yeah, absolutely. You're asking for help. He's going to ask, what's going on? You're going to share, like, I feel anxious. I feel anxious and jealous. Oh, why do you feel that? And then you know what a really good answer is to this? Tell me in the comment. Tell me what you think. If you followed my content before, what do you think is the thing that you can say? There's many things that you can say. There's many ways that you can be vulnerable here. There's many ways that you can use feminine communication. It's going to depend specifically on you, the specific issue that you are having, why you're feeling this fear. But let's say, we'll use an example. I feel anxious that you don't find me as attractive as other women. That's a really good one, right? So you're focusing on you still. It's like you're afraid that you don't, yes, you're bringing him into it, of course, but it's all about your fear. You're not blaming him in any way. Instead of you just saying like, oh, it's because you're looking at other women. You're focusing on the fear, like that basically he might lose interest in you, that you might lose him. And that's a really vulnerable share, assuming that energetically you're in that level of vulnerability. And he's going to be like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And then you're going to go from there. You're going to continue using feminine communication to share what's coming up for you, why it is coming up. And you're going to tend to get a way better response from him because you're not putting it on him. You're just vulnerably sharing what is coming up for you without any kind of blame or judgment. So this is what inspires the masculine instinct to care about you, because you are energetically opening yourself up. You're opening up your heart and exposing yourself for him to see and feel what is inside. What most women do, especially when they get scared or angry, is they energetically penetrate the man with some judgments. And that's not going to be inspiring at all. You might feel just as much fear either way. You might feel just as much jealousy, just as much anger, just as much embarrassment. The emotional response might be exactly the same, but only one response is one communication response is going to get that devotion and care, and him to look at himself and start becoming a better man, the other response is going to get almost certainly deflection, avoidance. I mean, if he's a weaker man, if his boundaries in himself are not very strong, he might do what you want, be like, oh, I'm sorry, and start groveling, but that's just because he's so weak. It's not because it's coming from a place of true care. It's because you basically turned into his mother and he's submitting to that, which is not what you want. That's not going to feel good either. The more that you learn how to do this in your love life, just in general, when there's problems that come up, the more that you are going to experience that kind of devotion, and the more that your feminine self-worth is going to come online, the more that you're going to realize you don't need to control anything in the relationship, the more that you are just going to be taken care of. Because that's the reality that you can have. That's all you need. Like, men are not going to show up perfectly, but they can at least want to. They can want to be better men for you, just of their own free choice. And they're going to, the more that they feel your heart, the more that they can feel how they're emotionally affecting you. Not just negatively as important, but also positively. They can feel your hurt. They can feel your gratitude, your joy, your happiness when they're doing things that are making you feel good. That's what men live for. And unfortunately, many women don't even realize it, either because they pick the wrong men. There's some men that don't live for that. Narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, men that are just really deeply wounded, men that are stuck in boyhood, they're Peter Pans, kind of man that I used to be. Yeah, there's those men that are stuck, absolutely. But and there's some men that will be stuck no matter what you do. I firmly believe, I'm basically as confident in this as I could be, that even back then, even before my masculine instinct came online, if my wife had communicated in the kind of way that I am teaching you here, on these videos, on this video, and so many other videos in my academy, in my books, if she had just communicated that way, my masculine instinct would have been more and more activated. I might not have understood it. Logically, it might not have made sense, but I would have had that desire, that compulsion even, to want to become a better man, more contained man, to take care of my wife more. There was one time, the first time that she was ever vulnerable with me, it was just so beautiful. I never felt anything like it, and I never felt so inspired to want to become a better man. There's never a time where I wanted to, basically take away the past and take away her pain and look at myself so I never caused her this kind of grief and pain and hurt ever again. That's the power of true vulnerability. Most women think they're being vulnerable and they're not. That's the other thing. I'll just say this briefly. If you think hey, I've always been vulnerable, I'm able to be really vulnerable, and you keep getting bad responses from men, you're probably not. Just going to say that. We're going to keep talking about that on the other videos, so keep watching my videos because I do explain that periodically in them. And when you get the full picture, you'll start to understand, yeah, maybe I wasn't being as vulnerable as I thought I was. This is how you solve this issue, and this all starts, remember, self-acceptance. Your feelings are okay. Your feelings are worthy. Your feelings are important. There's nothing wrong with them. You need to be willing to rock the boat. You need to be willing to lose the man. The only way for you to be cherished is for you to be willing to lose the man. You're either going to be abandoned by a man, either actually physically, or at least his heart. He's going to abandon your heart. He's going to disconnect from you. You're either going to be abandoned by him, or you're going to move through this fear. If you abandon yourself by staying in the control patterns, by not being vulnerable, by not speaking up, he will abandon you too. If you learn to honor yourself, if you learn how to connect with yourself, you'll get everything that you need, everything that you want. Tell me what you thought of this video. Tell me if anything came up for you. Tell me how you felt. I want to know. And then watch another one of my videos. Keep learning this. Get all the pieces. Make all of these shifts. And then when you're ready, book that call with me, relationshipyourdreams.com. I'll be here. I can't wait to speak with you. That's it for this one.